Hello, everybody, and welcome to That's What I Meant. We're going to start today off with a question. So, participants, question is, in 1907, a Japanese scientist discovered a somewhat controversial food additive.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Is that what we do?
You got to give an answer now. You ding.
Talk about umami.
Umami
No.
is the flavor.
MSG.
MSG, monosodium glutamate. I went with this question as our first question because it's a great example of the times. Japanese guy was eating some kombu broth, which is a seaweed broth. Delicious stuff. He was like, man, why is this stuff so delicious? So he went, did a whole bunch of science on it, found out it was umami, published a paper, and white people didn't believe him for 100 years because they said, we don't know about this already.
Sounds about white.
The 90s when we actually...
Oh, sounds about white? That's good.
Yeah. So the rest of the world has known about umami since 1907. White people haven't until like the mid-90s.
Dante from the third grade knew about umami pretty early on. He used to make umami jokes all the time.
Like what kind?
Like umami.
Thanks for joining today. Let's meet our contestants, starting with Sheila.
Yes, Sheila Lynn, and I am a screwball.
That you are. Shahab, let's meet you next.
So I didn't know we were supposed to have mascots, but she was fucking. I'm Shahab, and I'm here to win. I'm not here to play. I'm here to win.
All right.
Win.
Well, hopefully you know the rules about how you win then.
How do you,
Eric,
how do you
you.
win exactly?
You'll find out.
Yes, I am Eric, and I'm here to learn something or confuse myself.
Emily, moving over to you.
I'm Emily, and I'm here to teach something to Eric.
Oh, thank goodness.
That's a lesson.
Appreciate that. Yes.
In winning, that's my lesson.
And last but not least, we've got Lorena back.
Hi guys, I'm Lorena, and as you know, I am actually an undefeated champion of That's What I Meant trivia. And if we're going with mascots, my mascot would be the potato.
The winningest of all vegetables. There's a very famous component of Italian food. It's red, it's round. Yeah.
Tomatoes.
You're right. That's not the question, though.
Oh.
It's called a tomato. We all know tomatoes is a critical part of Italian cuisine, but Italians didn't use it until about the 1600s, which, if you know anything about Italian history, most of it happened before the 1600s. Do you guys know why they didn't use it?
Ding, ding. Because they thought it was poison.
They did think it was poison, but there's probably a more important reason.
They used them for decoration?
They also used them for decoration. Man,
Oh,
a lot about tomatoes.
Yeah, geez, Emily.
what a connoisseur.
I hate tomatoes. I
Okay.
just like them for decoration.
There was such a high demand for tomatoes in the U.S. or abroad that we were kind of hoarding them. They didn't really have a whole lot left.
That's a good way of putting it. There was a lot of demand in North America for tomatoes.
Ding, ding, ding.
I think I know. I believe
What do you
it.
guys gotta say?
Amazon did not have a delivery to Italy from South America yet.
You know what? I'm going to give it to you. They couldn't get them, and they were stuck in the New World. Nobody had tomatoes. Europe didn't have tomatoes until we came to the New World. Yeah, so all that great French food with tomatoes, great Italian food with tomatoes, none of that existed until people found out tomatoes weren't poison.
Do you want to know what my answer would have been?
No.
Okay.
I guess you don't want mine either.
I'd love to hear you.
Lorena, you want to log out right now?
Yeah. You
Okay.
guys don't need me. I'll just keep the trophy. It's fine. No.
Let's get those answers. I can always
My answer is
Oh, you're gonna give it anyway?
yeah. Oh, I'm the reigning champion. No. So they didn't use tomatoes for food because they were too busy using the tomatoes to throw at Shahab.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure you guys are very much familiar with the world's two most heavily used starches, rice and wheat. You may not be as familiar with the third starch, which is
Lorena.
Oh!
Am I right? She's a potato.
Lorena just barely gets beat out.
Ding, ding, ding. Does it have anything to do with Michael Jackson? Want to be starting something, better be starting something. Want to be starting something.
Where's the tomato?
No.
Oh, corn? Is it corn?
It is not corn. Corn is what I would have thought it was.
Huh.
It's cassava.
cassava.
It is
Yeah.
a cassava.
Cassava is like a bad radish, but a radish is not even good. So kind of tells you what that.
It is to a radish what a parsnip is to a carrot. It's like almost the same, just not as
Kind
good.
of that kind of thing. Yep.
The first time that a restaurant showed up in the world, allegedly, was 1765 in Paris, called a boulangerie, made by Monsieur Boulange. Do you guys have any idea why nobody was making restaurants before 1765?
Ding, ding, ding. Uber Eats was not around yet, and there was no way to get food to people.
It's true. The 1700s were spent entirely in quarantine. So it was...
Ding, 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 ding.
Sheila?
I think it has to do with that things didn't last very long. By the time you got the food to the table, it already expired. So you just kind of
Already.
have to eat it straight out of the pot.
It is not a
Ding, ding, ding.
problem with food storage, Emily.
They were too busy eating cake.
That would not come for another roughly 19 years.
Yeah, but where did they get the idea?
Right around the corner.
Right.
They needed to have a restaurant first to find out about it.
That's right.
I don't think the menu was invented till 1800.
Waitresses didn't exist.
These are all...
Had nobody to not tip.
Well,
Well, I think I know. Can I have a second chance?
You can.
So my maiden name is Sadler, and when my family is from England, and we were saddlers, and so back then you could only have a job that was passed down generationally. So my people could only saddle things, and so if you were a baker, you can only bake, etc., etc., etc.
Super close. It was
the unions.
It was actually law in Paris that if you were a baker, you could only bake. That was your guild. That was the only thing you were allowed to do. And in order to protect the guilds, you couldn't cross-pollinate. So a butcher could cut meat, a saucier could make sauces, a baker could bake, but you couldn't put all those things together and sell it because you would be in strict violation of French law. This guy...
The home of the union.
Figured out how to get around it, and he started selling food, and people were like, hey, this is a lot better than having to go to 9 different places to get dinner. So in the English language, we've got 78 different words to describe textures. In the Japanese language, they have how many words?
Ding, 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 ding.
Job.
78, because English is a derivative of Japanese.
That could not be more wrong.
Ding, ding, ding.
Lorena?
They just have one.
They do not. Although Price is Right rules, you're still losing to Shahab right now.
Oh.
Ding, 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 ding.
Sheila?
100.
400.
401.
Oh, you.
Emily, you just barely lost. It was 400.
Yes.
400 different words for textures. It's a much more important thing in Asian cooking, so they talk about it a lot more.
I believe they have over 400.
I think
No,
I
it's
say over 400. That's true.
So I
So-
think I won. What?
We'll give it to Emily then.
You better split the winnings. You better split the winnings.
Okay, you can have half. I will give you half.
I
Would
got
you
the
like me
point
to
for
recite
that.
the 400?
Can
I
you
got
recite them in song like the Animaniacs?
I'll prepare for next week.
Do you guys know, do you know what green vegetable Brussels sprouts are very closely related to?
Ding, 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 ding.
Job?
Asparagus.
Nope.
They probably know each other, though. They probably used to hang out from
They're
time
friends.
to time.
They live in the same apartment complex.
Aren't they the cabbage? Or
Artichoke?
It's not cabbage. It's not artichoke. It's
Cauliflower.
one, once you see it, you're
Cabbage.
never going to be able to unsee it.
Cabbage? No.
Okay.
They're like baby cabbages. Like.
Broccoli.
I like
Broccoli is it. So
broccoli.
Brussels sprouts are like a cruciferous vegetable, which includes broccoli and cauliflower. If you look at like the little like nubs at the end of broccoli like stalk, they look like tiny little Brussels sprouts. Fun fact. That's today's show. So thanks everybody for joining from the Improv Playhouse. My name is Chris. You can find me right here on this YouTube channel or on Instagram at cbruch. Sheila, where can everybody find you?
Almost anywhere, but you can check out Insta as a starting place. So at Sheila M. Lynn on Instagram.
Perfect. Shahab?
I can be found at Improv Playhouse, the theater on Saturday nights. I only play the adult show at 9 o'clock. I'm trying to think what else. Or I can be found at the park with my dog. Any park, all of them, same time.
All of them at all times.
All at once.
Eric, how about you?
I too can be found at Improv Playhouse in Libertyville at the 7:30 family-friendly show and the 9 o'clock adult show.
You're still out at the 7:30 show. That's good to hear.
I still am. So far, so good.
You didn't get the Shahab treatment yet. Emily, where can folks find you?
I am also at Improv Playhouse in Libertyville, 7:30 and 9 o'clock. But I'm also on Instagram and Facebook at Emily Bleeker Author.
And finally, Lorena, where can people find you?
Yes, you guys can find me the reigning champion of That's What I Meant Trivia. Here's my trophy. You guys can find me on Instagram at Lorena Out Loud, or I'm also at Improv Playhouse on Saturday nights, 7:30 friendly, 9 o'clock adults only.
Thanks again for watching. As always, if you have any of your own favorite food trivia, please feel free to comment below. If you would like to see us do a specific topic in the future, same thing, comment below. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, thanks again to all of the fine people from Improv Playhouse for supporting the show. Shahab, maybe you can tell people a little bit more about the Improv Playhouse.
Yeah, absolutely. The Improv Playhouse is located in Libertyville, right on Milwaukee Avenue. Don't hesitate. Come on in, see us. We have shows that are family-friendly for 7:30 and more adult-oriented for the 9 o'clock. You're free. You're free to stay for both shows and keep your kids there if you want. If you're a bad parent. But we totally support it, guys. We're everyone. Almost everybody on this panel is a member of the house team, so you can come see all of us. And we'd love to play for you.
Sounds great. Well, until next week, everybody have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.